thank you for this life you have given to us, and for all things living. And we put our minds as one to honor and give thanks, and to offer this prayer and smoke to the powers of the north, where in the cool stillness of winter we dream tomorrow. To the powers of the east, to this new day rising in the east to illumination. To the powers of the south, to the midday summer sun, where we learn humility. To the powers of the west, to the ancestors who've gone before and opened the way. To the powers of the earth mother, to the sky father, who holds billions of planets and stars and goes beyond that, beyond all thoughts and concepts, yet is within us. To the grandfather sun, to the grandmother moon, to the powers of the night and day who give us balance, to the elemental world, to the fires and waters, to the thunder beings who bring the rain, to the airs, to the winds, to the earth, to the rock and mineral kingdom who are crystallized wisdom and knowledge, to the plant and vegetable world to give us food and medicines, to all wild beings, to the winged ones, to the four-legged, to the finned ones, to the insect world, to the cold-blooded too. And we put our minds as one to honor and give thanks to our starry brethren, to the ancestors who've gone before and opened the way, to the future generations who will walk after us, to all our brothers and sisters alive with us today. May we learn to live in peace and harmony with ourselves and with everything that lives.
Thank you. Hi, and welcome to this double part of Living on Earth, which we are going to cover a little bit of the link between the spring equinox and the place on Earth that now is pretty active, which is Victoria. And again, I'm so excited to be back outdoors again. I know maybe some sounds and so on, they have a pros and cons, but we really love to be outside and film outside just to give you a feeling of where we are and what how we live our life. And the ceremony, the equinox, the spring equinox ceremony, we did a despacho ceremony, which is part of the tradition of the Quechua people in Peru. And it's so cute how they choose different kinds of objects and that they have around and the popular stores to represent the different aspects of Pachamama or the earth, and how that energy is so worshipped over there and used in so many different rites of passage, and as well that during so many days they can have 1 day or 7 days of celebration and preparations inwardly to honor the energy of fertility. And of course here in the north, this current of fertility start to travel through the spine of Earth, through all the Andes, passing through South America and Central America, and then it goes all the way through the coast of the States and go towards Europe and the Middle East. And every time that it goes up, it touches different cities, it touches different spots or marmas in the spine, and it branches out. It branches out and touch with life everything that is needed. And that exchange of energy between the spring and fall is always going in a smooth way, but it's more potent at this time. And this particular spring, of course, spring is about women, it's about fertility, it's about gestation, it's about how you are receiving the new earth. And in this particular year, 2021, it's about time, and the time of having time. Right now, with all the shutdowns and the reinforcement of stay home, be within, it continues to be. So how do we use time to expand within, and how we are able to stay still even if the currents of the spring, the hormones going, is saying change, move, clean, renovate. How to maintain that balance between the inner stillness, that is still be quiet, still take the book and browse around and take the time to go in somebody else's world. Like this morning I was reading one of my favorite painters, and just reading his writings. You enter into his world, you enter into his way of thinking, and I was so moved. I had tears in my eyes to see the magnificent beauty that this particular painter have cultivated and transmitted. Why? Because you have to take the time to be in solitude, and also to take the time and the courage to express that that passion that he has. So in this spring, it's about maintaining the time, taking the time, and still doing something that is renovating and that is expanding for you. And the current of energy, as it goes through the spine, it touched very profoundly the places in the spine that are about life, about nesting life, the elementals, the devas, all the different kinds of energies, resonance, magnetism, electricity that form our and organize our reality, our form, are being highlighted, specifically in the feminine aspect. So from the navel down, how this we are just stating in this stillness, new ideas, innovation. It's not the time quite yet to be a full sprint. It's a time to acknowledge that we are a seed of creation, and as a creator, we need to take the time to gestate, to be alone, and to project that passion in a very compassionate, soft, vulnerable, heart-oriented way. So I am really excited right now because it is for us in Living on Earth, as you know, this is going to be our last episode of the season, and we'll start something fresh that is still show how to live in Earth with sustainability and with a more conscious and awareness. So please enjoy this episode, and let's move now to the beautiful journey that Matthew have prepared for us to travel to Victoria Islands and to all our friends that we have in that part of the world.
Sitting with the back straight. Take a long, deep breath. And exhale. And continue a long, deep, relaxing breath. And exhale. And this time as we inhale, the long deep breath, imagine we're ascending high above the earth, the beautiful blue-green planet below us, shining her waters. And as we exhale, we descend. We descend Vancouver Island on the west coast of North America. So many islands around, but we descend to the southern tip of Vancouver Island. And continue a long, deep, relaxing breath as we locate ourselves here. Now we begin to notice that there's a there's a sphere. It's half buried in the earth. It's a functioning instrument. There's yellow lights dancing around it. And within that sphere, on the ground, there are codes. It kind of looks at first like a game of tic-tac-toe. So many codes of information. In this place. And as we locate ourselves within this sphere, we allow this information to enter us. And as we continue to breathe, this information takes us across a threshold. To a world within a world. There's a circular shape, like a large kind of donut shape. Beautiful colors. And then we become aware that it's an eye. It's an eyeball. It's bluish. Plasmic. And we continue a relaxing breath. And we begin to descend. And now we inhale again. And now we're above the sphere. We're outside of the sphere. With our hands, we imagine lifting the sphere up out of the earth. And we imagine ourselves like giants. We're holding the sphere in our hands. And within the sphere are dancing lights. It's very much alive. It's like we're holding this great potential for life in our hands, full of information. And then we inhale again, and as we do, we take this sphere into our hearts. And exhale. Feel yourself returning fully to your body. Whole and complete.
Well, it's a beautiful and remarkable and simple journey about the elementals.
Yeah. It was, well, not unexpected. When we've journeyed out there, it's the elementals are, well, the water spirits and the water dragons, very prevalent there, and the invisible. We had, an adventure one time where we were being watched, and we saw like that eye, the eye of the serpent watching us. It was similar to the journey, and well, that was during a summer where we'd had a lot of contacts with those types of elementals, and we had been working with people on that level too, doing sessions, and but anyway, it turned out to be a gigantic water dragon, and it had been watching us, and I could see it in the house. It had come down. It had been in the bedroom, and it had come down the stairs. Gigantic. It was like huge and very close to the 3D. It was in the fourth dimension, like not in the physical dimension, but very close, almost touching, almost bridging the different worlds. And I noticed that as it moved, it was growing exponentially, and it grew to tremendous size, and it had been in a state of fear It had been hunted on some level in this dimension or another dimension. I don't know in what time frame. But it had been, it had been in hiding, and perhaps with our seeing of it and acknowledging it, it was able to come out. And then we watched it go down the bank, and then I saw the tail disappearing into the water. But with it came the knowledge of expansion, which we had in that journey. The dragon ability is the ability to expand.
And sometimes we, in the spring, for example, we think that, we get very excited to change things and to modify something within, but really it's not about changing anything. It's about taking more territory and expanding of what you have cultivated during the winter. It's a matter of just making it bigger and taking more space within you to express it. And sometimes we confuse that with change. You say, I am changing something. But no, really, it's a little seed, because I do have another experience in Victoria there where this may sound a little bit out of the ordinary, but I was carrying in the energetic field, in the energetic womb, little dragons. And they were want to go to a certain island for me to deliver them and to be able to refresh the earth, refresh the elementals in that area. So I was considering the mother of the little dragons, but it was also about expansion that is not necessarily by change. Yes, it's implicitly the renewal, but it's about how you expand the most deep core seed that you have inside, that you have really contemplate during the winter, and how in the spring the elementals take that energy and expand it.
Yeah, well, it's used in nature.
Yeah.
That element, yeah. But for me, well, you know, in the 5 different types of dragons, this was the water dragon, and they each are a gatekeeper to certain to limits that we have imposed on ourselves. In ancient India, they had words for it. The 5 kunchukas, and they are associated with different limitations. Like one of them is time and space, which for many of us, you know, we must have experienced at different times where we're outside of time, you know, and we're in a deep conversation, or time disappears. That's one of them. That's one of the kunchukas, which is the first to fall as we develop, you know. But this other one was the ability to expand, which was quite extraordinary. It's outside of, it takes us outside of the limitations of size.
Yeah, and it's also related to the elementals. They sustain the earth, but also they sustain the Maya. They sustain the illusion. That's why the 5 different kinds related to the elements, they are very much in association to maintain the matrix of the form, to maintain the what we see as a touching reality, the lab of our life. And when we are able to please them within our own body. And that's why it's so powerful to have panchakarma and purifications at this time, because it's a kind of a renewal before they expand. Is a good way to flash the old perceptions and to reframe yourself with a different perspective and start expanding. Working with them is a profound, I will say, reprogramming of the elements, and a way to honor them as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so Victoria, for us, it was a lesson in that.
Yeah.
And
in the forest, and the waters, and the community, and the friends we have there, they all have a kind of a very high creative ways and relation to those elementals and those dragon-like beings that if you are not on your own sovereignty, you easily can be devoured and become part of their world of illusion and misunderstanding.